In 2014, our goal was to educate and inspire the next generation of young Black leaders. Today, we are in search of the best to reveal the secrets to success. Our belief is that we should teach the young early the things that we learn late. Our lives are shifting the culture. Our lives are changing the narrative. These are the ShineHard conversations. Welcome back to a Season 5 episode of the ShineHard Conversation. I'm your host, Johnny Bailey, and this week I'm in Washington, D.C. with fitness entrepreneur Monica Jones. Monica is super influencer here in the fitness space in Washington, D.C. Because of her talent and commitment, she's been recruited by NUBOXX, Orange Theory, Under Armour, and she even has a seat at the table with new up-and-coming fitness boxing center, Bash. So today she's going to talk about how she transitioned into being a fitness entrepreneur and some of the keys to her personal success in the business side of things. So without further ado, Monica, it's time to shine.
Thanks for having me.
For sure. So people see social media, they see, oh, you got these followers and you've been boxing for this long, but they don't always know how your journey began. So talk about your childhood and what growing up was like for you.
Well, growing up for me, I have 3 older siblings.
Okay.
So I constantly was watching the things that they would do, and as far as my parents went, they've worked hard their entire lives, and they're still working. And so I've always watched them do that and thought to myself, you know, I would like to live my life a little bit more flexibly, have more time to make it to my kids' soccer games and take them to practices and stuff like that. And this is a luxury that myself and my siblings didn't have.
Right.
So of course we had each other and certain interests like music and things that went on at home and going outside, but it was a very raw environment for learning and experiencing new things.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Anne Arundel County.
Okay.
I was born in Baltimore,
Maryland.
And in my early years of life I was in East Rock, which is in Essex.
We all had that thing that we wanted to be when we were younger. So what did you want to be when you grew up?
I feel like I had a phase where I wanted to be everything,
Really?
but definitely wanted to be an actress more than anything. I still appreciate the arts and film a lot and modeling, and yeah, it seemed like a very glamorous lifestyle, but also one where you could be somebody else and get paid to be somebody else. So that seemed kind of cool to me.
Kind of like an escape to reality. I kind of found that escape from being an athlete. Like I grew up running track, playing football, basketball, and I always felt like when I'm training or when I'm performing that I was somebody else. I was kind of like in this space where it wasn't really reality. And that was very therapeutic for me as a young kid growing up.
Yeah, you can like let yourself run free, be a little bit more aggressive, and you don't really get that in your everyday life.
Exactly.
It's a good hour or two of being somebody else.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. So let's talk about your career and your journey as a fitness entrepreneur. So tell us about NUBOXX and Train With and all the things that go into that. Like, what is your business?
Well, I would honestly say social media plays a huge role in the exposure that I've gotten.
Yeah.
I was found by at the time, general manager of NUBOXX to be a coach there. And this is based on content that myself and my coach had made, you know, just the general boxing progress and being consistent, of course, got me seen too. As far as Orange Theory, I love the aspect of being able to be an athlete outside of sports, because you know a lot of us get out of college and if it's not in the cards for us to do professionally, then we kind of lose that. So you can go in and get a really good workout in and challenge yourself and even be competitive. So I used to go 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes 4. I was addicted to the feeling, and of course I was approached to be a coach there too.
Right.
And
is that because of your performance while you were there, or is that still because of your content, or both?
Oh, yeah. I think that I had a really good presence with them, community-wise too. When I would go into the studio and take class, I always wanted to be social with people and get to know them, and the more they got to know me, and that I was a trainer for a good 4 years before I stepped in there, that you know they had a lot more interest in having me a part of staff.
Right. So talk about your partnership or inclusion in Bash? I know Bash is like an up-and-coming startup boxing center.
Yeah.
You know, what's your role in that company?
I always say this, and one of my good friends, Alex, who is one of the co-founders,
Yeah.
you know, it's all about how you treat people. For a long time, when I used to work at Gold's Gym, I would see quite a few of the people who are involved with Bash now. And, you know, they were members of the gym, always have a cordial relationship with them and smile and speak to them regularly. So years down the line, I became a coach, the head coach at Orange Theory with Alex Trachis, who's the co-founder of Bash. And, you know, she always had a big dream to have her own place. I always wanted to be my own brand.
Yeah.
And, I watched her try to find what concept she wanted to start. And as I was making my way through my own personal boxing journey, I introduced her to boxing, and she fell in love with it. She started to see how empowering it was, especially for women. And then she decided that that's what she wanted to do. So as she grew into that role of not just management, but now ownership, and beginning a brand from the ground up, she wanted me to be her right-hand woman.
So you didn't start off as a fitness entrepreneur coming out of college. So talk about what college you went to and what you studied, and then like how you transitioned out of college.
Okay, well, my transition was quick. I went to, honestly, coming out of high school, I felt very, not misguided, but I didn't feel guided at all. So
that happens to a lot of us, you know?
I followed and followed. So
yeah.
If people were going to Anne Arundel Community College, that's where I went. And when I went, I would just kind of exist and show up to class and not really be mentally stimulated in that way. So then I said, oh, I love cooking and I love food. I'll go to culinary school. So I applied to Johnson & Wales in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I got in, and when I went, again, very lost, still trying to just make it happen.
Unfulfilled.
And, yeah, paying out of pocket for school. It was rough for me, and so we began anatomy and physiology. And upon that was my second trimester of school. During my sophomore year, I was really into creating nutrition programs for special demographics, and then we went over to the YMCA in Charlotte and created workout programs for special demographics.
Gotcha. So you started to find that health and wellness avenue.
Getting back into the gym especially after gaining the weight that I did from going to culinary school.
That freshman 15?
Oh my, it was probably like a freshman like 25. It was up there, but getting back in felt so familiar for me. And then having a natural knack for that.
So wait, were you an athlete in high school too? Okay, what sports?
I played soccer, that was my first love. Lacrosse during the winter, and then, or during the spring. And
what school you went to had lacrosse?
Indoor track.
You went to a good school.
Glen Burnie High School.
Oh,
Yeah, we had a pretty good track. We had our indoor track coach was incredible, Coach Walker. But afterwards, you know, you really lose that sense of team. You know, you're sent off to college on your own. You got to start over if you don't have a scholarship.
I ran track at Hampton, and I was all in when I was in school.
And that's your family.
That's my family. Those are my brothers. Shout out to HB Track and Field. But when I graduated, my passion to go to the gym just went like,
it's
like, now you got to get this money. Now you got to make a difference. Now you got to work.
And then you got to show up to the gym, and then you got to go hard. It's a lot.
So what was that moment when you became a fitness entrepreneur? Like when you were like, oh, this is me. I'm doing this.
Well, I did just feel the love for fitness again when I started anatomy and physiology. And then I moved back home. By fate, I was introduced to my mentor and my best friend.
Who's your mentor?
Her name's Tasha Cooper. She was at the time a fitness manager for Gold's Gym Corporate, and she said, oh, you want to be a personal trainer? You should work for me. And it was literally by fate.
She was like,
you know when you just start having the darkest part of your life, and then that person shows up and they're just turned up completely, and you're like, I kind of want to be like that. So yeah, that was her. And then, you know, in corporate gyms, you are training for them. You're wearing their logo. You are their employee, and they take a portion of your session. So that's my beginning of training, but then it became, Monica, you as a brand. I just kept hearing it from clients. You as a brand, it needs to be you. You need your own place.
You need
your own
this.
Everything. Yeah, this should be you. So as the rise of social media became, I more so had a platform to put up videos, put up photos, share my journey.
You were riding that wave.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I didn't perfect the wave, but I definitely was consistent.
So does being a Black woman in fitness give you any pushback? Like, what have been the biggest challenges for you navigating as an entrepreneur here?
Biggest challenges? I think it's always tempting to work for someone else. It's really tempting because they will supply something for you, whether it's a place for you to train, or they have people walk in the door, they have the marketing, they're supplying something for you to make it seem easier.
Right.
But then you know in your heart that you may do something different, or you know that your work is worth a little bit more, or that you can offer more if you have that flexibility to be a little bit more of yourself.
Right.
So the hardest part, I think, is just really sticking to something that's tougher, but more worthwhile.
So what have you learned from entrepreneurship? Like, how are you maintaining? Is it relationships? Is it resources? Like, what really keeps you going afloat?
Relationships is huge.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, as a personal trainer, even in itself, or as a coach, your referrals from other people and how they feel about you just takes you so many places.
Right. And that's across the board in any field of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, absolutely. My relationship with Under Armour,
yeah,
it's based off of a relationship that Alex had with our point of contact, who went to high school very close to her, and they always had a great friendship. And one day she said, you know, what is Bash? What are you guys doing over here? And then she became more and more interested with working with us.
Yeah.
So
how meaningful has Under Armour been to your boxing career as a trainer influencer?
It's literally just been a level up as of like literally 2 months ago.
For sure.
We've gotten to go there and to see what they're all about. We share the same ideals, just really seeing like, you know, we do things as a team. United we win. We celebrate the wins. We're the best at getting better. Those are the kinds of things that really resonate with me, because it's never about being perfect, but it's about living a hardworking, humble life and treating people around you well.
Yeah, for sure. So I sit down with so many dope social media influencers and industry leaders on this show, and they inspire thousands of people through their work and through their lives. But it's really very intriguing to me to understand who inspires the influencers. So if you had like a Mount Rushmore of inspiration, who would be 2 or 3 people that you would name?
I like E.T. the hip hop preacher. Honestly,
E.T.'s my guy.
I mean, that literally, like, any of his work gets me hyped.
You will not outwork me.
It's the grind. It's literally the grind. It's gritty, and it's something that I feel like, you know, it's not pretty. It's what you need to hear, and it's the way you need to hear it. And you know, any of those motivational speakers are great, but I just feel like his relationship with teams and with sports especially, and how he can take that and make it just an everyday thing for people.
Because he's talking to NFL teams, NBA teams.
And then corporate offices. He'll go in there and yell at them the same. So it's like, you know, be yourself.
He's transitioning all over.
Yeah.
Crossing over. Who else?
I'm pretty big on Misty Copeland.
Okay.
Misty Copeland is the black ballerina. You know, there's so many of them out there, but it's you're facing a lot of judgment based on not being exactly what ballet wants you to be, what that community wants you to be, and you still come out on top because you can never be overworked. You continue to grind. You know, I love that about her, and the fact that ballet seems so graceful, but it's something so painful.
Oh, it is.
And
I can only imagine.
You know, she returns time and time again.
I've seen those ballet dancers' feet come out those shoes.
Last one is Siniesa Estrada. She is a now professional boxer. She's based out in California, but she's incredible. She's been at the boxing games since she was in her younger ages, somewhere around 6. And even her father is super motivational. Just their love and their family atmosphere that they give on social media is great.
And speaking of purpose, a huge part of our organization, our mission, is purpose and driven through closing the racial wealth gap in America for African Americans, and we believe education is the way to do that. So we're very passionate about transferring knowledge, about economic empowerment and collaboration. But I feel like you got to find your passion, because your passion will lead you to your purpose. And I see you online and social media, and I'm like, that girl's passionate. I think she's found her purpose. So can you tell us, what is your passion, and when did you know?
My passion is definitely defying the odds and really pushing past anything that makes you nervous, makes you doubt yourself, makes you... So, I mean, it could honestly be physical activity, or it could just be a general confidence boost, doing things that you love, and then having good relationships with people around you. All of those things really tie into finding exactly what it is that is sustainable for you to continue to do over and over again. You know, sometimes passion is not what you make a career out of, but what keeps you going in that career. So, you know, for me, it's just, even if it's just landing a great combination in boxing, or if it's cueing somebody down for a sprint and doing it at the correct timing with the music and seeing their energy, or hearing them after class say that the class made their day better, or that the last 6 months of their class has made their life better. Those are the things that really I feel passion for. And none of them have to do with the way that I feel personally, but how I see other people feel.
No, that's real. That's real. Making an impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
For sure. And we talk about making an impact. I have pretty much given my all to this movement, and I want to make an impact. And I've had some really dark times as an entrepreneur, broke times.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
We've all
struggle,
had broke times.
You know.
If you don't go broke in entrepreneurship, then did you really try?
Right.
You know.
If that's not part of your story, I'm scratching my chin. Like, how'd you really go through it? So, tell me about like one of your dark times as an entrepreneur, and share with all of us and what you learned from that, like how you came out of that.
I think that there's been quite a few, but the best part about each of them, and I could say college honestly was a huge piece of that. I paid for it on my own. I waited tables from age 17 up until 25. Until 25, and in that industry, it's very easy to continue to keep going. You make cash, you make friends,
fast money.
You drink for free. You know, it's the kind of stuff where you could be complacent. Really,
all the golden handcuffs, to keep you there.
And one of the darkest times for me was being in college, knowing that I was paying a lot of money for something that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do when I got out.
So what were you studying?
Culinary. Yes, just cooking. I mean, the more that I saw chefs do what they do, get burnt up and miss holidays and miss birthdays and, get chewed out by restaurant owners, it became like, okay, I know this is not the reality for me, but I didn't have the money to continue to pay for it. I was down in Charlotte and I was really just down on myself and not understanding myself. And it was the people around me who thought the most of me that picked me up. But it's about, no matter what you're going through, still treating the people around you with love and, and still sharing what you're going through with them. Because if you don't, they don't know and no one can help you.
That's a major key that people overlook is like sharing the dark part of your journey. And you already know social media has everybody posting their highlights. Like nobody shares the real struggle, the real grind.
Being relatable is extremely strong.
Humanize yourself. And I think people don't share their story enough because they're afraid to be vulnerable and exposed. But there's power in that.
I can say every time though that I've gone through a hardship, I don't want to say I've gotten better and better at handling it, but I take a lot of pride in the fact that I don't spend as much time each time being upset. You kind of pick up and go a little bit faster. And so,
strength.
I mean, well, you just know I've already moved this mountain, I can move the next one. And there's definitely going to be another one to move. The bigger your dream, the higher you have to climb.
Absolutely. So what inspired you to succeed?
People are counting on me. It's not that it's glamorous or anything like that. It's that when you attach yourself to a purpose of helping others, they're never going to not need your help.
You're in the service business.
You will never ever run out of clients or people to enjoy or depend on your brand. So that's, succeeding is never going to be one heightened achievement. It's just continuing to see and affect more people.
So do you feel like everyone has a dream?
Yes. I think that, people daydream all the time. They may not have like some ultimate huge dream, but their mind and their body will continue to bring them back to a place of something that they might want and that they might think of and maybe fantasize about.
So what separates the people who realize their dream and the people who don't?
Acknowledgement. Some people may feel that, they may think that, but they don't acknowledge it. They allow it to keep going. They might be complacent in what they're doing. It might pay the bills, or they just might be scared, but they don't acknowledge it and they let it just happen as like a second thought in the back of their head. But I think that's the big difference.
So kind of transitioning over to some of the current events going on today. Social media is at an all-time high in levels of noise, and there's so many issues, even overseas. What frustrates you the most about today's culture?
Frustrates me the most, I think that there's a lot of time being wasted talking and voicing opinions, but they're not really put into action, or they're not put into a useful a useful like collective effort, you know. So like, fine if you disagree with someone, but there's plenty of people who do agree with you, and have you guys banded together and kind of pal out ways to solve a problem versus just talk about it.
So, is there any book that you've read or any blog that you read that has guided your light as an entrepreneur or changed your life as a woman?
As an entrepreneur, I mean, I did read the 5 love languages, and honestly, it was about interaction and interpretation, which is huge. You know, everybody receives and gives love differently, and so to understand that about a person really kills your expectations and allows for you to see things for what they are. You know, someone may not care about you saying that they look nice today or giving them a compliment, but they might care that you
bought them a brush to
clean up after yourself. You know, that they might care a little bit more about that, and everyone just had different perception and different interpretations.
So what are your love languages?
I like affection.
There's physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts. What are the other ones?
Acts of kindness.
Acts of kindness.
And then the last one is
quality time. Quality time.
Yeah,
that was the other one.
I don't know if it's words of affirmation, but a valuable conversation. You know, if I express something that concerns me, or if I'm going through something, like, did you listen, and are you bringing that up later on, or following up on it, or do I feel like you're trying to add to what I'm doing just as much as I add to you? You know, so, you know, growth is huge for me too, which is not a language, but is it happening?
So our viewers are high school students, college students, recent graduates, seasoned professionals. Most of them are millennials of color, and one thing that we all have in common is our desire for excellence and passion, and to discover our purpose and to be meaningful. And you're here because you're doing that. You're following your passion and you're exemplifying Black excellence. So what advice would you give to the next generation about flourishing in their profession and finding their dream?
The more you know about yourself, the more you can do with your brand. You know, whatever it is that you want to develop, make sure that it is something that that there is a demand for. You know, you can supply that, but make sure that there's a demand for it so that that continues to grow. And
understand the market.
And always treat the people around you well.
You can tell a lot about a person by how they treat someone who can do nothing for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as a waitress, I'm sure you've probably come in a lot of encounters where people treat you rudely because they feel like, oh, she's just a waitress.
Yeah, or they show me what they think I'm worth. At the end of the day, it's, you know, no matter what, that's always going to be. But there's a difference between people who create an experience for someone and just deliver their food.
That's real. That's real. So this was a super powerful conversation.
It was great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very happy that you were able to make it to our show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No doubt, no doubt. So let everyone know how they can find you on social.
You can find me on Instagram at trainwithmon. I'm also on Facebook as Monica Jones, and I do have a blog, themjfadeaway.com.
Sweet, sweet. You guys can find me, Johnny Bailey, at @1JohnnyBailey, Instagram, Twitter. Of course, follow the movement, ShineHard Family, at ShineHardFam. Visit ShineHardFamily.org. And don't forget to sign up for your recurring donation. This movement is all about celebrating Black excellence, closing the racial wealth gap, and providing a platform to transfer knowledge. And we need your support to keep this going. Thank you to my donors. Shout out to Osric Cricket for the wonderful shirt that they blessed me with for this episode. And you guys stay connected. Whatever you do, find your passion, because passion changes everything. Shine hard. Monica, thank you.
Thanks.